What is cracking, gamers? It's Toxico Cereal. Yes, it's Toxico Cereal. I'm not making this up. Welcome back to another video. You guys are probably surprised in what you see on the screen right here. Yes, we're talking about a Roblox video. Oh my god, yes, I play Roblox. I play a lot of Roblox. More than I probably should. Now, I haven't been playing as much because of two reasons. One, I need to get videos in for my Brawl Stars content. And two, I've been recording Hella Tornado Survival Series. But one Roblox game that I need to talk about, I've been holding off way too long, we need to fix this now, is Blade Ball. Blade Ball has many problems, first of all. But we'll be talking about one specific problem, and I'm going to go over through everything, because this is a glaring issue that the Blade Ball team, not to be rude, they suck at this problem, which I'm about to get to. But before we get it, I just want to prove to you guys that I am not trolling when I play this game a lot. If I pull up my statistics, I have 1,929 hours and 7,450 wins. And yes, I have three, because Infinity doesn't count, but I have 3 pay-to-win abilities. I have Sod, I have Soft, and I have Dribble. And I don't have 2 of them I have maxed, which are these 2. I have both of these version 2, and this one I only have version 1. But just to show you that I'm a serious competitive gamer in this game. But there are some big problems that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to go over to the training cave very quickly, and we're going to be talking about what the heck the problem is and what the heck I'm going to do, what I suggest for the Blade Ball team to do in order to fix their biggest problem. Anyways, while I continuously die to this bot, because I can't turn off auto start for some reason, which is annoying, we're going to be talking about the biggest problem, which is the ability balancing. The ability balancing in this game is horrendous. It's horrible. They are terrible when it comes to balancing abilities. It's so embarrassing, in my opinion, that they nerfed, well, before we talk about anything, they nerfed Dragon Spirit again. They nerfed this ability to oblivion, basically. It got nerfed, now it's slower during the standoff. And this is the most recent update, too. They nerfed it. But they don't nerf any other most broken abilities. God, I really wish I could pause this, because this doesn't work. But anyways, we're going to be rebalancing every freaking ability in this goddamn game. And I'm not every ability, but the glaring ones that need nerfs, buffs, etc. And we're going to be mainly talking about the Battle Pass abilities, because there are some free-to-play abilities that I will talk about, but it's the disbalance between the version 1 and version 2 of some of the Battle Pass abilities, or pay-to-win. I'll call them pay-to-win. It's pay-to-win, let's be real. Oh my goodness gracious. If I could pause this would be fantastic, but I can't. So, but anyways, we're going to be talking about nerfs first, then buffs, and there's probably going to be no reworks in terms of things. But we're mainly going to be talking about the disparity between version 1 and version 2 of every single ability. So, we're going to talk primarily, if you want to skip to the free-to-play abilities, I'm going to have little timestamps down below on each ability. But let's get into it, because I don't want to waste your time. So the first ability I want to talk to you about is going to be relatively new one. It's Slashes of Fury, and this is one that I own, like I said before, and it is absolutely broken. It is way too strong, and there are many glaring problems with this ability, and the difference between version 1 and version 2, it's just way too strong, in my opinion. That's the biggest problem. And Slashes of Fury in general, version 2, is easily a top 3 ability. I would say the only 2 abilities that are pretty semi-close are Dribble and Time Hole, which, yes, I will talk about those abilities as well. But I think the biggest problem with Slashes of Fury is the fact that you can do this. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you can run around with the ability, and look at this. Your ability's already started to recharge. That is what makes this ability so strong, because you can hold on to it and then grab it last second, and by the time you launch the ball, you pretty much have another one ready to go. I think that is way too strong of a feature, and if they don't want to change that, they need to nerf the cooldown by a lot, because the fact that you can pretty much spam this ability the whole time is crazy. And then the second thing is, version 1 isn't terrible, but just like I said before, the disbalance between version 1 and version 2 of Slashes of Fury is way too strong. So for me, the easiest thing to do is to nerf the speed of the movement speed you have when you have version 2, because you run around at max speed when you have the ability active, which I think just doesn't make any sense. Like, you should be a lot slower than this. Like, I get the ball should move with you, but this is just way too fast. You can close down your enemy without any problem whatsoever, and that's why it's so strong, because you can run up to any ability, as soon as you see them parry the ball, you can just literally not stop your Slashes of Fury and pretty much get the kill all the time. The only way you can counter this ability is with a few abilities themselves. Infinity, Dribble are like the main two. But any other ability, like if you don't have an ability to counter Slashes of Fury, you're just going to die because Slashes of Fury gets canceled out by nothing. The only ability that cancels it out are good swap players and Continuity 0. They're the only two abilities that can actually cancel this ability out. So it needs several nerfs. So, but yeah, that's going to be Slashes of Fury. Let's talk about the next ability. The next ability we're going to be talking about is another one that I indeed own, and that is Dribble. Dribble version 1 is honestly pretty balanced. I don't think it's completely broken. Good players know how to avoid it, and good players with Dribble know how to use it. But the biggest problem easily for me is version 2 of Dribble mechanically is way too strong. Like, if they want to give it an extra dribble, that's fine. I don't care. But the fake out is mechanically way too broken. The fact that you can fake out the enemy and pretty much guarantee a kill almost every single time. Like, it's super hard to predict when they're going to use the dribble because it's fake out. It's always going to be highlighted and you're always going to parry. And then, bam, if you don't have an ability to counter dribble, you're going to die. And the fact that they have 3 of them pretty much all of the time, because what you can do is you can do this. You can spam all your dribbles at the same time. I just did that so badly. Let's try it again. But you can spam all your dribbles at the same time and recharge them all at the same time. It just doesn't make sense. The cooldown is, I don't know if it's intentional to be like that, but it's way too strong. So I'll use one here, use another one here, and then bam, I'm out of dribbles. But wait a second. I'm going to recharge all 3 of them at pretty much the same time. And this is why Dribble is so broken. Because you pretty much, Dribble can be used offensively and defensively. Oh, somebody pulls you? Let me just use my dribble really quick. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then I fake you out and you're going to parry it anyways. Yeah. It's mechanically way too strong. Like, it needs a couple of nerfs. One, fake out dribble needs to go. It's mechanically way too broken. I don't know why they would even put that in the game. And number 2, the cooldown is way too short. Either make it so that it can only recharge 1 at a time or just nerf the cooldown in general. It's way too fast. It's too many extra lives at the same time. It just mechanically fixed the goddamn ability. It's way too strong. But that's going to be it for Dribble. Let's hop on to the next ability. Oh, here we go. You guessed it. The next ability I'm talking about, it's Time Hole. Yeah, I don't know. Nobody talks about Time Hole enough, in my opinion. Time Hole is so dumb. It's so broken. It's not even fair because it's pretty much Infinity on steroids. And Infinity is a little bit easier to predict in these metas nowadays. And it's a little bit easier to counter. But Time Hole is not, because Time Hole gives you 4 buffs. It gives you a speed buff. It debuffs the enemies by slowing them. It prevents them from using their abilities. And it also stops the ball. Just like Infinity. Infinity only stops the ball. It doesn't do anything else. But Time Hole, oh yeah, you can just spam this ability. Run up into an opponent pretty much. As long as you're walking away from the ball. If you walk towards the ball, you're going to die. But good Time Hole users know not to do that. You have to run away from the ball. And pretty much, you can't die. You pretty much are invincible for the whole time you have Time Hole. And it's so fast of a recharge too. Like, why does it give so many buffs? I don't know. Like, it is a little bit easier to counter in some aspects, but it's super situational, and the Time Hole player has to be terrible. Which, in Ranked, if you guys don't know, it's banned every single time. I've never, in so long, Time Hole is just banned everywhere, and it's just because it's mechanically a broken ability. Like, it gives so many traits, and it recharges really quickly. And actually, one thing I should have mentioned is defensive abilities are way too strong. Like, we need an offensive meta, not a defensive meta. Like, I can just do this. I can just run around the guy, bam, parry, bang, and he's just pretty much never going to predict it. You can hit the ball when it's outside of the Time Hole. What is that? That is some insane range. So I have a couple nerfs to Time Hole. One, remove one of the traits. And for me, it has to be nerf the speed. Why the heck do you get a speed buff on a defensive ability? That just turns a defensive ability into almost a guaranteed killed offensive ability. That's just not fair. And number 2, the cooldown is too fast. A defensive ability should have a long cooldown. But it doesn't. It has a super fast cooldown, and you really can't do much about it. Like, it's just not fair. So, yeah, that's going to be Time Hole. Let's hop on to the next ability. And finally on the nerf list, the last ability is Death Slash. And you're not going to believe it, but no, I'm kidding. Like, seriously. Everybody knows about the Death Slash glitch. If you jump and use Death Slash at the same time... Okay, it didn't work there, but maybe if they would have fixed that, it would be huge. But I know they didn't fix it, because I just tested this not too long ago. But the Death Slash glitch. If you jump and use Death Slash at the right time, you use it like Infinity. And let's see if I did it there. Okay, maybe they fixed it. I really hope they did. If they fix it, that's huge, because that glitch was way too broken. Let me see if I'm gonna try it again. There's no way if they did fix it, obviously this won't matter because Death Slash on its own is trash. Okay, let's see if it worked there. Okay, yeah. See this is what I'm talking about. This is not how Death Slash is supposed to be used. Okay, now obviously I'm showcasing it pretty poorly because I don't use Death Slash and I don't really know how to use the glitch. But if you time it correctly, you use Death Slash like infinity, and that just is not fair. That's not the design of Death Slash. It's supposed to be used as a very powerful hit that you have to time, but no. Everybody in Ranked abuses this glitch, which 100% should be bannable, by the way. The fact that it's not is blasphemy to me. So, okay, for some reason my ability just didn't work there. But anyways, just fix the Death Slash glitch. That's all I ask, is to fix that glitch, and then you can rework it. Because they plan on reworking this ability. They just never have. So, see, here we go. This just is not how you're supposed to use the ability. It's just not it. It's just not it. Like, you have infinity with a pretty quick cooldown as well. It's just not the design of it. But yeah, I think that's it for the nerfs in terms of Battle Pass. Let's talk about some buffs. Alright, here we go. Starting with the buffs on the Battle Pass. Starting off with my main ability, Slash of Duality. Slash of Duality on release was absolutely broken. So they had to nerf it, which, yes, I agree. It was way too strong on release. The fact that you could just abuse the Light Slash without the opponent ever knowing, yes, they nerfed it twice. The first nerf, they just added a 1-second delay before you could use it. The second nerf made it so that it actually takes a second for you to actually fire off the attack. So they turned Sod from a brain-dead ability into an ability you have to time. Now, against the casual players, it's still broken because the fact that you can just pretty much kill them every single time. But in competitive play, Slash of Duality sucks because there's 3 easy drawbacks. Number 1 is if you know you're being targeted, you can pop your defensive ability. Number 2, it's not that hard to block. It's really not. If you know you're being targeted, you just have to wait for a big black thing in the center and click. Because majority of the time, they'll use the Light Slash. And if they don't use the Light Slash and they use the Dark Slash, you have your ability, which will at least block it. And yeah, and then that as well is also, it can be killed by pole users. Because usually a lot of the abilities that are Battle Pass at least have a defensive feature. Slash of Duality is pure offense. There is no defensive ability aspect to it whatsoever because you have to time it. And if you get pulled and you're too late to time your Sod, you're going to die. You can't counter. Like, there's just nothing you can do about it. So, and then, yeah. And also, version 2 Slash of Duality. The dual slash is horrible. It is so bad. It does nothing. It really doesn't do anything. It's a 20 times worse Light Slash. So it's just terrible because the one thing I do like about the dual slash is that it speeds the ball up over time, but the biggest problem that it is just it works way too much with the Light Slash. So I have a couple buffs I would like to give Sod that fixes both of the problems that I talked about. Number 1, in terms of countering, if you're being targeted, you should not be able to use your ability. And yes, that includes passive abilities like Guardian Angel. If you're being targeted with Sod, you can't use your ability. That's by far, in my opinion, the biggest change. If they want to keep it just a pure offensive ability, which I'm fine with because I like Sod. I'm pretty good with it as a Sod main. Yeah, if they don't want to keep it like that. Otherwise, I have 2 other things they could do. They can make it so that the I'm not talking about that yet. I'll get to it. But they can make it so that when you pop the ability, you're invisible until you shoot the ball, except disable that in standoff because that would be way too broken. Or just make it so that it completely cancels out their ability, even if it's active. I think that last part would be way too broken, which is why I recommended just simply disabling the ability. And then for the dual slash, because the dual slash is terrible, I have a couple. I have 2 suggestions. 1, make it break through abilities that are currently active, because if you guys didn't know, Slash of Duality can't cancel out a lot of abilities. Singularity, Slashes of Fury, and even Aerodynamic Slash. Slash of Duality does not cancel out any of those. So it kind of sucks in that aspect. So maybe make that, or 2, make the dual slash invisible the whole time, because that way, in competitive play, it could actually be very good, because a lot of people that predict the Dark Slash will end up dying because they think it's the Dark Slash. But in casual play, a lot of people just pre-click anyways. So they're most likely going to block it. But they do something, please, because Slash of Duality it's just not good. They killed this ability. The next ability we're talking about, it's going to be the Titan Blade. Oh, Titan Blade. There's just never been a Titan Blade meta. Ever since it's released, it's received so many buffs, and they just can't. I don't know what to do with Titan Blade, but I have one buff that they just probably should just do, honestly. And my buff is just going to be make Titan Blade passive, because it's honestly a good ability in terms of, like, clashing and with range, because if you misclick, you might get an extra hit. Make it passive. Because Titan Blade is just not good. It's terrible. Mechanically, Titan Blade is just not good. You really don't need a bigger parry. Like, the ball speed is nice, but just in the current meta, it's too defensive for Titan Blade to even shine. So if they make it passive, then yes. Otherwise, Titan Blade might need a big rework, because I really don't know what to do. Titan Blade has been bad ever since its release. And even with countless buffs, it's just not, they're not going to change it. But let's hop onto the next ability. The next ability we're going to be talking about is Bunny Leap. Bunny Leap is on release. It seemed really good, but honestly, it's just not that good. Now, there is a glitch with the version 2 of Bunny Leap, but honestly, it really doesn't change that much. It's pretty quick cooldown. But Bunny Leap overall, it's just way too predictable, and it is a defensive / offensive ability, but it's too predictable, and I don't know what to do. Maybe just make the ball speed even higher, or even give it a less cooldown. Because what you can do is use that and then get a nice parry off in terms of the double. But the single version, like I said, the disparity between version 1 and version 2 is just not that. It's just not good, because version 2 is so much better than version 1. Even though Bunny Leap as a whole just sucks. Because you can just, yeah, like, cool. The ball follows you, and yeah, look at that. He hit it anyways. It's way too predictable, and that's why I just don't like Bunny Leap as an ability whatsoever. Finally, we're talking about Dragon Spirit. Yes, I get it. Dragon Spirit was a very brain-dead and toxic ability, but they nerfed this ability to oblivion, man. It's just not fair. This ability has received so many nerfs that it just seems unfair, in my opinion. I get it. It's really brain-dead, and the fact that you can just click at any time and redirect the ball to a random player without them knowing is pretty toxic and pretty brain dead. But at the same time, man, so is every other pay-to-win ability. Like, you've got Slashes of Fury, Time Hole. Even Slash of Duality is brain dead as well sometimes. Sure, you have to time it. It don't matter, because it increases the ball speed. And they did Dragon Spirit so dirty. So first of all, the fact that it only recharges one at a time, like, I can spam all of my Dragon Spirits at the same time, and it's going to take me, like, okay, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me rephrase that. But let me get back into a game, and let me just use all my Dragon Spirits, like, right out the gate. First of all, they made it so you can't spam them. It gives, like, a 3-second cooldown before you can use it. Not Dribble, though. Not Dribble, though. Dribble doesn't do that, but Dragon Spirit does. But yeah, I'll spam all my Dragon Spirits. Now I'm literally just going to sit here and wait. Let's see how long it takes to get my Dragon Spirits back, because this is the biggest drawback. Like, okay, I got one back pretty quickly, but like, Dribble, by now, I would have had all 3 of them back. But not Dragon Spirit. Nope. Because Dragon Spirit is both offensive and defensive, but it's just so much more. It's like, nowadays, like, when it first came out, like, it was unpredictable, and you just, bam, you could just brain deadly spam it. Like, they fixed that aspect, which I like. It was way too brain dead and way too easy to use. But now it's just, like, it just doesn't feel as impactful as it used to be. And I get a lot of bad players going to be like, oh, don't buff this ability, blah, blah, blah. But they nerfed it again. They nerfed it in standoff, which, I mean, that's fair. Because you could just spam your Dragon Spirits at the opponent and pretty much throw them off guard every single time. But yeah, now I have all 3 of them back. But yeah, it's way too predictable, too, now that you think about it. Because if you see the Dragon Spirit and you know the ball's coming to you, just click. Like, it's not that hard. Or even just use your other ability. Because other abilities counter it as well. Like, it's pretty easy to counter. So honestly, I would just buff the cooldown time. It's pretty long. Like, I get it. They changed the spam feature, but it's just not as good as what it used to be. Like, if they fix that, fine. That's really all I suggest. Because Dragon Spirit, give it some love. They've been really harsh on this ability, but I think that's going to be it in terms of pay to win. Let's talk about some free to play. Alright, so I have a couple nerfs. The first one, it has to be Swap. I know Swap did actually just get a nerf. It increased the coin duration. But good swap players are so annoying to go against. Because if you play on bad ping, they swap you and you insta-die. Like, you can't do anything. Because I'm pretty good with swap. I've gotten better with it. Now, it's really kind of hard to show it in the training cave. But in an actual lobby, oh man. Like, I can pretty much kill anybody. Even really good players that know how to bait out swap. you can do it. But swap, I think the swap time on version 3, it's too fast. Like, you have to, they got to make it so that it's a little bit more predictable, honestly. Like, it's just way too fast. If they nerfed it by just a little bit, it wouldn't be nearly as toxic because you could see that you're being swapped and pre-clicked pretty much right away. So, but yeah, that's my nerf for swap. Swap just right now, it's just not fair. It's way too strong. In terms of the other free-to-play ability that I think needs a nerf, it's Guardian Angel. Nobody talks, well, not nobody talks about this, but this ability is dumb. It's brain dead. The fact that you can just miss a parry, even against an ability, like Slash of Duality, Slashes of Fury, you could just be like, oh yeah, he's going to shoot the ball at me, I got Guardian Angel to protect me. Yeah. The thing, I mean, I get it. I like this ability's mechanic. I just don't like how it works in-game. The fact that all it does is it redirects the parry and at a random player. Like, no. Okay, well, that's annoying. I just got to pop up on my thing and it completely messed up my game. Yeah, I don't like that it just redirects the ball to a random player. So, the nerf this, just make the ball respawn at the center. If they want to keep it at the same speed, sure. But I wouldn't really recommend that. I would just respawn the ball at the center and give it just make it normal speed. Like, make it so that, like, actually killed a player. Because I don't like that it just rebounces the ball. And then the ball goes just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it pounces amongst, like, 30 players with Guardian Angel. So, that's just my nerf in general. And I just think it's just, mechanically, it's just dumb. Now, it's kind of hard to talk about free-to-play abilities that need a buff, but one I do think needs a buff is Telekinesis. Telekinesis is really expensive for, honestly, a really just awful ability. The biggest problem, yes, Telekinesis does, I believe, I don't know if it still does, but it is a counter to Singularity, which is a decent ability. It's one ability I didn't mention. I think Singularity and Phantom, which are a couple pay-to-win abilities I didn't mention, I think both of them are relatively balanced. Phantom is a lot better, but honestly, I think overall it's just balanced right now. Now, there is a big dispute between version 1 and version 2, but I don't really care. Phantom has been bad forever. Make it meta for a little bit, then we can talk about it if it becomes a problem. But Telekinesis, man, is just, it just isn't good because it's way too predictable. Like, you wait a certain amount of time, and then bam, you just reparry the ball. And even if you pre-click it the first time, it still lasts for such a long enough time that you're pretty much going to die anyways. So, in terms of my rework for Telekinesis, honestly, I would make the timing random between a certain increment. Because right now, it's got a set time before it launches the ball. Make it a random time. Give Telekinesis some love, man. Like, it's just right now, I think it lasts for about 3.5 seconds. That's what I feel like it lasts for. Make it average from, like, 2 to, like, 4 seconds. 2 to 5 seconds. Make it unpredictable. We need to see some Telekinesis spam. Like, it has a pretty quick cooldown, but it's just too easy to counter. So, and that's pretty much it, honestly. I don't really have any other abilities I want to talk about. If you think there's an ability that I missed in the game, let me know in the comments and all of that. Even a free-to-play ability, I'm not really worried about free-to-play. I think free-to-play is quite balanced. Like, you know what you get with a lot of abilities, but in terms of pay-to-win, the disbalance is so absurd, and it also ruins it for the free-to-play meta. Like, nobody talks about a lot of the abilities, just free-to-play can't counter, because pay-to-win just shines. Especially abilities like Dribble. Like, oh yeah, it tells you you have to click when the ball is coming towards you at a certain color. Oh no, fake out Dribble. Wait, how did the ball go back to him? That makes no sense. Yeah, like, why? No. Like, come on now. That just isn't fair. But yeah, that's going to be it for this Blade Ball video. Oh my god, I'm dead. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.